All right, chaps, we are back today with Halo Episode 4 review. And I would say that I don't know where like the creators again are going with this whole storyline because we're already in episode 4, and out of the 4 episodes, there's only been one of them where there's been like a good amount of action. So there was some in this, but not a whole lot, like very little. Like I would say the hour-long episode-ish. There was maybe like 2 minutes of it, so it wasn't whole crazy. But anyways, in this episode, we explore a few more things, especially with regarding Master Chief's past, and then also we're dive a little bit more into the other Spartans. So with Kai, Vic, I forget what their names are. I just know one of them is Kai now. And we also dive more into Quan Ha and her story. So I'm gonna start with the thing I hate the most, Quan Ha. Like, not that I hate the actress. Like, I think she's great, but her story arc drives me crazy because it just makes no sense. Like it's like one thing about the Halo universe is that yes, like in terms of the timeline, like the Spartans were created to basically fight against the insurgents and like the rebellion against like the UNSC. So that's what they were created for. And then the Covenant show up, and now like humanity has band together to prevent extinction, right? And so this girl, I get it, like her family was killed and her entire outpost village, whatever you want to call it, was completely wiped out, right? So she obviously wants revenge, or like is like very sad, and her whole life has been about like this whole rebellion or whatever that her father was creating. And like her whole mission at this point is like, oh, I want to go back to Madrigal and I want to like keep the rebellion up. And I'm like, dude, there are bigger fish to fry at this point. Like, who gives a crap about your stupid rebellion? Like, there is an alien race hell-bent on destroying anyone and everyone that looks like you, humans and children, like men, women, and children. Like I don't know, maybe like her character didn't see it, but there was that scene where the elite like literally just took the plasma blaster and just mowed down the women and children, like in that storage closet or whatever it was. Like, are you kidding me? Like, all you care about is some stupid rebellion? Like, the human race is being attacked as a whole, and there's like zero discrimination going on. So, like, like get your priorities straight. I guess maybe it's because like she's technically like a teenager in her character, but like if I was Soren, I just would want to like backhand slap her and be like, "What is wrong with you? Like, there are bigger fish to fry right now." Like, arguably, yeah, like this crazy other like usurper, I don't know, rose up, took your father's place, and it's not cool, and now is like pals and friends with basically the UNSC, who you've hated your whole life. Which I get, like it's like someone that you thought was supportive of your cause is now like with the enemy, so to say. Except that the enemy now is no longer really your enemy. The enemy is the Covenant. So like, who gives a crap about Madrigal? And like, she goes on this like temper tantrum against one of her father's soldiers about like, oh, y'all betrayed him, blah, blah, blah. Like, we should be fighting back and starting back like the cause. Like, who cares about the cause? It's irrelevant at this point because the Covenant will glass your entire planet and there will be no Madrigal, all right? There'll be nothing to fight for. So, I don't know. That's just like me. I guess it's like, it's always like one thing, like when you're looking from like the outside in, you're just like, what is wrong with you, woman? You're like, what is going on? Anyways, other things that happen in this episode, we have Chief and them going back to, I guess, his home planet. I don't know if he was born there, but they go back to this planet where they look for the other part of the artifact, and we see this relatively lackluster like sequence of events where like, I don't know, like they're just look like he's going down memory lane, and it's honestly like super drawn out. Like, do we really need like 40 minutes of him going down memory lane? Like, does it matter? Like I guess it builds a better character for Chief at the end of the day. And I guess like maybe from a more TV standpoint, like you need more character, because the video game character is just like Chief is arguably a little robotic. You know, like all he cares about is just fighting the Covenant and saving humanity. So it's like a very heroic, persona, but he doesn't have like much of a personality. Like, let's be honest. And he's very dogmatic in a lot of ways too. So, I guess like this whole point is to build more of like a person in Chief, which I can kind of understand in order for, because like you need story, you need character in order to get more into the main character. But there's so much story in all of Halo lore, so I don't know why they have to go through this like I don't know kind of like character arc for Chief. And I still watch it just because it's nice seeing Chief, and like armor and all that, and it's like cool to still see it, on the TV screen, so to say. But I don't know, it's just still kind of like exhausting. And then we have this whole weird shenanigans with Kai 125, and like now she takes off her or takes out the emotion inhibitor chip. So the first thing she does is like, I don't know where she found that like material from but she dyes her hair or whatever. I don't know what that was about. But like, so she starts basically acting more human at this point because she can, because now like she's not, because of the emotional inhibitor chip, which was never a thing again, like never a thing in Halo lore. Like Spartans were just really good soldiers. Like they don't need inhibitor chips because they know how to stay on the job. Like they've been training since they were kids, so they know how to keep their emotions in check. It's like even with modern day special forces, like they know how to keep their emotions in check because they go through rigorous training. Like when things hit the fan, they keep calm. They know how to control themselves. They don't go into panic mode or anxiety, induce anxiety, and then they can't function. That's why they do all that training, and then their muscle memory kind of takes in, and they just do their job. And Spartans have been training like much longer than any special forces type of like modern day special forces troops would have gone through. So like they wouldn't necessarily need that. Granted, I guess in this type of society, like it does work out in a lot of ways, because at that point, like when you have all emotion removed, you like literally just pull the trigger on it. So maybe that's why they do it, because arguably, the UNSC was willing to kill Quan Ha in the first episode just because like she existed. So it was like that was like, and arguably if you had not had that, but even arguably with that chip, Master Chief still didn't do it. So obviously his emotions came into play in some shape or form. So there's some irregularities. And then as we go through the episode, we start finding out like, so now like Miranda Keyes, which is a character I'm starting to like more and more. Like I kind of really just like how her character arc is going, in the games, like she didn't last very long. Like she was in Halo 2, I think she dies in Halo 2. Yeah, like she doesn't survive it, which I'm hoping that's not her same fate in this world, because I really like Miranda Keyes in this case. And we have an elite body here, which is interesting. They have a needler, which is kind of cool. Like, and I like all the stuff in the background. You have looks like a carbine in the background. So I thought that was kind of nice. Like they have actually taken all the they have like a plasma rifle. They clearly have right there. And like having that kind of stuff around is kind of cool. They have some, I guess, what is those, the worm, the Magala or whatever that crap, those that makes the hunters. So it's kind of nice, like a little bit of a Easter egg situation here. And but like you have Miranda Keys doing the whole like experiment, like, oh, let's see if any of you actually interact with um, the whole the Keystone thing or whatever, which is like it's kind of fun story arc. I mean, it's kind of interesting, and they're trying to decipher the Sankheili language, which I'm surprised they haven't done already. Like everything is recorded at some point or another, and they seem to have also. And Spartans, they say like, oh, you have the most experience and interactions with the Covenant, so why aren't they using them to try to translate their language? They're like, oh, I've heard this a lot of times, so it might mean this. Like, why is that already not a thing? Like, they're at least like 2 or 3 years into, or at least a year or so like into this whole war, and now they're just trying to decipher the language. Like, what the crap? And they're like, oh yeah, Halsey has like a stranglehold on Spartans. I'm like, but you're the UNSC. Like Halsey works for the UNSC. Granted, like in the story, like she is super rebellious and just like does whatever she wants. But the only person she listens to is like Lord Hood. So just have him tell her what to do. I don't know. But overall, like I mean, this episode was like a little bit more enjoyable. Just because I feel like it's actually going somewhere. Granted, I don't know where the hell they're going, but at the end of the episode, they actually find on 2 ways. I guess they're eventually going to find Halo. You have Kai 125 and Miranda Keys. They somehow decipher the language of them talking about Halo and the ultimate weapon, and then they also have like the actual artifact that they come across, which is in the background here, and I guess that's gonna take him to Halo, which again, like, they should already be on Halo by this point. They should be already be on Halo and fighting or doing something along those lines, because this whole prequel is just really, really long-winded. But I hope the rest of the episodes are just going to be a little bit more interesting. They do throw into some kind of like weird, I don't even know what this is about, where there's like this crazy assassin person that comes to try to kill Kwan Ha, but then Soren fights her. Who is this lady? Like, I don't know if she's part of Halo lore, but she's like some kind of crazy assassin. Who knows? But like, people know who Soren is, which I guess like he probably operates on the black market or something. And yeah, like now I guess Kwan Ha's on the run, like, from some crazy assassin with Soren, who is like, even though he's not a Spartan now, he's still very much Spartan. Like, he still has the augmentations, he has the Mjolnir armor, he might not have a shield, and he doesn't wear his helmet or anything anymore. So he is still like very much a Spartan, right? Like, at this point, like, he can mess up all these people because he clearly still has a lot of training where he can just he is like very a good shooter. He has a great aim. And he shoots this girl, in the arm, which I guess is more of a story thing, because like you don't want to kill her off so quickly. But I don't know where this is gonna go, and I honestly don't really give a crap what happens to Soren and Kwan Ha. Like, it just doesn't matter. All I care about is Master Chief and the other Spartans. Like, that was the main appeal of Halo, and I hope to get to see in like later episodes like some ODST and all this other craziness, and maybe they'll end up maybe the last episode will be just some crazy battle. I don't know. But overall, that's kind of my take on episode 4. It wasn't the best. It wasn't the worst. But they're just dragging out the story like it's just moving at a snail's pace at this point. So they need to really like get something going. So hopefully the next few episodes do. But let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys later.